You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, it's AFTERBUZZ TV's Game Control Live.
Hey guys, and welcome to Game Control Live, the third episode to some sweet B-Boy Mario beats. And all the way across from me, we've got Grant Kohrmann.
Howdy.
Hair getting long as hell.
Yeah.
And next to him, the lovely Raychul Moore.
Hi.
In an amazing Power Rangers outfit. Representing. And next to me, Kaori Takee.
Hello, guys.
And guys, I'm Dave Klein with John Quick in the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? And by the way, as a reminder to all of you out there, the number is currently down for call-in. That is 424-256-1729. We welcome your comments. Please chime in this episode.
Yeah, guys, so definitely make sure to call in at 424-256-1729. And for all of you listening up, this song is Super Mario B-Boy Mix, because I'm a B-Boy and I love any breakdance remix of Mario especially. It's posted by Tommy Lay on YouTube, and the credits, he credited RJ Manalo and Dill11 for these remixes. So you guys know, and I'll post the link on the YouTube version of it. So guys, right now, we're going to be talking about some video game film adaptations. There's some new ones out there. We're going to do That's a Quote, where we talk about some various quotes around the industry. The 27th anniversary of the Konami Code is this week, and we've got some gaming moments of the week, a bunch of quick hit news stories. But first, the new Xbox, is finally going to be announced May 21st.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get excited. What do you guys think they're going to reveal, other than the Xbox?
Does the date have anything to do with the announcement? 21st? I don't think so. No?
05/21.
No, there's no secret messages hidden.
I'm ready to finally get the actual stats. No more rumors. All the rumors are going to be done.
It'll be like
Let's talk some rumors.
Ready.
before E3, so
I'm ready for actual real stuff.
it's interesting. Some of the rumors this week that, I mean, like, again, the announcement comes out, it's just a date, you know? It's a date, and they're going to tell you about it on that date, but still, the rumors keep flowing.
Yeah.
And there's a new set of rumors saying that software publishers will be able to decide if their games require an online connection to be played, reporting from a couple of different sources.
Yeah, so the always-on thing is kind of, at the moment, the most controversial idea and the most controversial rumor out there, and it's sort of this in-between now, as you were saying, Grant, where it's like, well, it will be there for people for the publishers who want it there, but only if they want it.
I wanted to coin a distinction between the two. It's like we've always been talking about always on, but I think that we should be talking about two different things. There's an always on or only online. So right now, your Xbox is kind of more already an always on device. Like you sign in, it's begging you to connect to the internet. If you're connected, you're going to be able to see your friends list and play your games. But I think that everybody's been saying always on, always on. But my PC's always on, my Wii's always on for that fact. So is my PS3 and my Xbox. I think the better distinction would probably be only online.
Now, if it does turn out to be what this new rumor is, do we still win that bet against Dave
I
from
know,
last
that's
week?
what I
this
wanted to
fake
see.
bet
I'm
that
totally
I
on
never...
Dave's side. Yeah.
Look,
Remember, everybody in the chat, you get to vote and decide on what Dave does. Right now, I'm thinking about something that involves a Speedo and the Venice Boardwalk. But please, more ideas.
I like that.
that's
there
a
we go.
horrible idea, and I don't like it at all.
But only once like December or, you know, like late January comes around.
See, I don't know, because that's sort of this like weird in-between, though, because that's sort of like both sides if it happens to be in between like that.
Well,
That's
there would be
kind of
no
like what we've
in between.
been
It's like the
saying.
always on it's going to be always on.
But let
We
me,
know
okay,
that.
first of all, as far as always on goes, always on has been a distinction used for things like SimCity and Diablo 3. So when you use always on, that term is you have to be connected to the internet to play the game. That's what it means. You're making this distinction, Grant, but always on already means what you're trying to
I
make
think
that other
the
distinction.
Xbox announcement and the way that it's kind of going and like the controversy surrounding it probably begs us to make a further distinction on that and say, you know, like is there such a thing as online only
But that's what
for a
always on
console.
already
Right.
indicated. That's what it already was supposed to mean.
Because I kind of think of as my Windows 8 machine as being always on. I kind of think as my Xbox. I mean, like unless it tells me it's signed out, I don't really tell it to sign in for that matter.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Mine is always online.
My PS3 isn't always online, and I'm totally fine with it not being
But you
online.
gotta get
when
them
it starts
updates.
Netflix, it's like, oh, you got to be online to do the Netflix.
I just don't want to have the possibility of not having that option. So depending on what's going to happen, I hope that it's not always online.
I like my PS3 always online because it downloads and installs all the updates at night while I'm not having to play it. So when I play a game, I don't have to wait for an update. It's already done.
But I don't want to have to go online to play a game.
Yeah.
Look, I don't dislike.
But that's a major contention.
I don't
Will you
dislike it
avoid
being there and being something that, as long as it's an option. Like, yes, I have my Xbox on when I can, but there's times that I can't, and I just don't want that to be a feature where it has to be. And that's the only thing that I was arguing last week. And also, I want to say something about what John was arguing with Call of Duty, where he was saying, look at games like Call of Duty. They don't care. They'll make it always on if they want. John, my thought is that if you have something like Call of Duty that sells 1 million copies and someone doesn't like the always-on thing, they can buy a PS4. As far as a console manufacturer goes, there's no reason to limit your audience at all whatsoever.
Are we hearing from you that right now that the PS4 version of Call of Duty is going to be, like single player, offline only? Is that
No,
what
I'm
it
just
means?
saying that as a console manufacturer, you should give your user, your fan base or user base options.
Yeah.
You never want to limit your user base. And that's why when I first heard this always on rumor, I thought it was fake. Because I was like, they would never limit their audience in such a stupid way, especially after the SimCity thing. But regardless, I was just speculating off of rumors last week. But let's talk about some other
Rumors
things.
and speculation. And
Let's talk about some other
dogs
things relating
sleeping
to
together.
Durango.
Cats and dogs.
So what we're hearing is that supposedly there will be, and these are the things that will supposedly be included that we're going to hear about,
Allegedly.
is a new and improved Kinect will come with the system, be required to use it.
There's no way to improve the Kinect. It's just shit no matter what.
I kind of like the Kinect. I don't hate it. Dance Central's awesome. I'm a fan of Dance Central, but regardless, if it works better, I mean, it works better.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any reason to dislike the fact that if it comes with a Kinect, who cares? As long as it comes with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But there's going to be a new controller, which is supposed to be about the exact same damn thing, apparently. 500
Hey, if it works,
gigabyte
don't
built-in hard drive,
fix
which
it or
I'm
be
excited about. The bigger the hard drive it comes with, the happier I am.
Me too.
So built-in Wi-Fi player, it supposedly will play Blu-ray discs. So Sony won out that war.
Yes.
Hey,
we
they kind of
did.
have to get on that one at this point.
Yeah,
Because it's going to
yeah.
give them more storage space as well. And they're going towards being able to support possibly these next generation consoles, 4K resolution, which is like, that's a massive amount of bandwidth.
So as far as the always-on controversy goes, Hayden Gorge has an interesting idea or thought about it, which is that the problem with always-on isn't the fact that they rely on you to be constantly connected to the internet. The problem is relying on them to keep the servers running and never getting overflowed,
Exactly.
which was
Yeah.
the issue that happened with SimCity. But back to more on the topic of Durango/new Xbox. We're hearing some rumors that 2013 will actually be the release date, early November or sometime in November, like around the 13th is the launch window, which would kind of make sense with the holiday season. That's a really
Yeah.
quick turnover time to when we usually hear console
I don't
announcements.
think they can give like 6 months, 7 months to Sony with them owning the field if they're going to release in the holiday
Right.
season this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. They're
Like,
not going to let them have that.
I think they saw what happened with the PS3 Xbox launch and the fact that releasing early gave them a really definitive edge this last generation. And if they managed to not
Didn't give
take
the Wii U
advantage
a
of that,
definitive edge. Or the Dreamcast.
but if they don't take advantage of that, I think that it's solid in their minds that time is something that gives them an advantage, and if they don't take advantage of it, they're gonna get run over by the fact that this PS3 has like as many good features as the Xbox does as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'll have to get both.
But what about a name? Everybody's saying it's like the Xbox
720.
Infinity. 720
Yeah.
Infinity.
Yeah, like 720.
I don't know. I
don't
thought
want
PS4 is
Durango.
lame. I think PS4 is a lame name. I'm ready for a new name from
No,
Sony.
but it's
Yeah, PS4
tradition.
is fine.
I'm
It's
lame.
they
I'm
have
done with
to
it.
do it.
Well, it's interesting.
tired of it.
It's interesting that they're going with that name because they've talked a long time about how they weren't going to be calling it the PS4 because 4 in both Japanese and Chinese The word for it, at least in Japanese, because I don't know it in Chinese, is shin.
Yeah.
And that is also
It's
the...
chi.
yeah, well, okay. Thank you for letting me know. Ichi-ni-san shi. Oh, okay, yeah, shi. God. Shi is closely related
Chi-chi.
to the word that means death.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that too, but yeah, it is
PS4
interesting that they're going with it
death.
because of that for that audience, especially since Sony's also an Eastern company.
Well, they aren't uncomfortable with having a name in one country and a different name in another. They've
Right.
done that a lot with all their games, and
Not
I
with
think
the
they've done that
consoles,
with
though.
yeah, the Nintendo, Famicom.
Well, yeah, you're right. Good point.
So they're pretty comfortable with like doing one thing for their Asian, the Asian nations and the Eastern European nations, and then
well, they
us as
haven't in
well.
a long time,
Right,
though. That's the
right.
only thing. They haven't since the Super Famicom.
Well, this whole
Chi.
chi thing might actually end up, necessitating it.
But I don't know. I think like PS4, it's like a movie, you know? After a certain amount of time, you just got to refresh and come up with a new name.
Why? I think PS4 is fine.
I like it
I'm with
too.
Rachel. It's tradition.
It makes sense.
I'm
I think
tired
it
of
does
it.
too.
I'm tired of it.
DualShock controller 4 or 3 or whatever. What are they now?
How would you guys feel if the Xbox rumor of it becoming the whole entertainment system and your cable box?
I think the nicest rumor is that it runs on like a full version of Windows 8. I've been hearing that. That's a
Right.
little bit less verified
Right.
than everything else, but it kind of makes sense with what they're trying to do. Like they've always the MSN TV, Microsoft TV. They've always wanted to get an edge on getting their PCs in front of the TV to serve as a set-top box for the consumer. And the move to the Netflix streaming service, Hulu, and all the other stuff that they've been able to flesh out with the regular Xbox 360 connection. Like since it's all working and it's working great for them right now, I think that they're just going to solidify that.
I don't like it. I hate when I just want to play a game and I have to like scroll through all these panels.
Yeah.
There's all these ads everywhere. It's hard for me to find like what's an ad, what's actually a new game release. And then if I know DLC is out, but it's not being featured, I have to go through so many different avenues to find that one piece of DLC I'm looking for. I just want a damn game system. Just play my games.
Totally.
And I don't need anything else.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I mean, I guess I don't mind it having the features. It's just that mainly this is more gripe just with Xbox. Their dashboard is so annoying.
Yes.
Now their new one just, I hate it. And that it's at the point where I don't even scroll to like anything
don't
anymore.
either.
I'll just go straight to play game now. And I used to actually kind of like looking at the different like menus. Not anymore. I hate it.
I pin everything or whatever it is called where you can pin it to that one category on the front page.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
pin all my Xbox
Spam.
Live Arcade games there.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have to go anywhere else.
Yeah. That's
Everything's on my front page.
You still get advertisements though, don't you?
Yes, there are still advertisements.
push it away
which
in there.
drive me crazy.
So Ruberton kind of has a point. Sorry, not Ruberton. R. Burton has a point, kind of against what I was saying. Very different. And this PlayStation is a household name.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
is Xbox. Come on.
So-
Not as
Give it
much
that.
as
PlayStation
PlayStation
more
is.
well,
so-
and
Yeah.
Hayden Garin says I think they'll just call it Xbox. Take the Apple route, calling the new iPad just iPad.
That's a very good example.
So
I
kind of
think
just
it
that
actually might
household
work.
name idea.
And then just
Yeah.
let the consumer assume that this is the version 3 or this is like those are very similar.
But that
to
didn't
the-
work out very well for the Wii U. Apparently, according to various market surveys, is people still don't even realize that there's a new Wii because the name is so similar.
But it's so different.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
a lot of people
I don't
aren't
think
us.
that's-
We're hardcore gamers, so we know that stuff. But a lot of people don't who aren't in the hardcore demographic. They just hear the name Wii and they think it's just the Wii. No, I don't think they realize that.
I still hate that stupid name.
Yeah, I do too.
The Revolution
Hey,
would have
it's
been so
fine.
much better.
Revolution was a way better name.
loved it.
But let's go ahead and jump on. Speaking of Nintendo, talking about the fact that they're not going to have a major press conference this year at E3.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, Nintendo's first time backing down from a major press conference.
It's really worrisome because my big complaint about Nintendo Direct was that everything was for the 3DS and we didn't get any really good solid Wii U titles announced. And I was like, oh, they're just going to wait for E3 and announce all of them there, but now they're not going to do that either. And the Wii U's major reason why it's not doing very well is there's not any big first party support on it yet.
Well, I agree with you. That is what we were talking about last week, is how, all they had during Nintendo Direct was 3DS, but they're clearly waiting for Wii U to make these big, or not Wii U, for E3 to make the big Wii U announcements. But there is one thing that they did at least say. Satoru Iwata, who's now the new head of Nintendo, when they released this statement, said, At E3 this year, we're not planning to launch new hardware, and our main activity at E3 will be to announce and have people experience our software. Many people are certainly very interested in learning more about the Wii U titles that we are going to announce. We will use E3 as an ideal opportunity to talk in detail mainly about the Wii U titles that we're going to launch this year, etc., etc. So it sounds like they still are going to talk about Wii U titles. They're just not going to have that major conference.
But
They're
didn't
gonna
he
have
mention...
that big ass. They're gonna have that big ass like show area.
Really? But I had read that all the Wii U titles were going to be behind closed doors for select Western press.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. Was it was
Seems like a
behind
really
closed
bad
doors.
Which would then assume that they're not actually
I
going
mean,
to
they
have
had
that
the
big
Wii U
area.
on the floor the last 2
I know.
years
Usually
almost.
their big open area is still the busiest section
And I
of
can only
E3.
see this press conference like compounding that. Like there's going to be no press conference, and it's like instead of the people that don't attend the press conference going to the show floor to see the games or the systems, like you're going to have the press and those people on the show floor. Like that, I'm going to stay away from the Nintendo booth probably until the second or third day.
Right. Well, I hope that it's not all behind closed doors.
I hope so too.
Because
Well, another company,
get my hands
2K,
on it.
not
But-
going to E3.
But regardless, I do think, yeah,
No,
2K is
they
not
don't
either.
really have anything.
Yeah, they only have one game, which actually is
Yeah.
Grants. We're going to talk about it later. But yeah, 2K is not showing up either.
That's
But
fine. Rockstar doesn't go. They haven't been in forever.
they were there a couple years ago for Dance
Right.
Central, but that was the last time I remember them.
Rockstar was Dance
Or
Central?
no, not Rockstar. I was thinking, no. I was thinking Harmonix. I don't know how I confuse the two when they're such totally
Right.
different.
The
One makes
story
dance and music games. One makes games of like GTA. So.
The last time I saw Rockstar at E3 was when they were promoting the Warriors.
Yeah.
But here's
They
the
had that bus there in,
Yeah.
in the convention
Yeah,
center
with like
park,
the
chain link
fences.
and
Yeah.
everything.
But here's kind of my thoughts on Nintendo and them not doing it. I kind of think it's just kind of a money saver
Yeah.
thing for them, where they realize Nintendo Direct did so well. They're going to be doing a Nintendo Direct during E3,
Yeah.
where they can just, for Japan, where they just stream out everything to Japan. And they're just going to allow the Western media to essentially do all of their marketing for them. And they can just do another Nintendo Direct
I
for
think
whatever
it's a
they
lot
want to
about
announce for
saving
Wii U.
face.
Well,
Like
Maybe it's
they're
saving
very
fa-
public, like they're aware of their public image, and if they have both of their competitors are releasing new consoles and a bevy of new launch titles, they don't want reporters and they don't want the media coming up to them
As
going
they're-
like,
they're
"And what
number
do
3."
you have?
But no, but if they're
No.
still saying that they're releasing all these Wii U titles, I think it's a worse version of showing. I think it's not saving face if you don't have a major press conference, because we're already talking about how
Right.
this looks bad for them. I think it's
Yeah.
a saving money thing where they look at it as like, well, we don't have a major console now, so why are we going to spend all this money reserving a giant conference area at Staples Center, where we just basically show all these people something there where we can do it just as well in Nintendo Direct.
Well,
I think that's
see,
what they're looking at.
For me, the press conferences and everything is it just building excitement. And when they say we're not doing a press conference, for me, it's like, oh, they don't have anything they're so
They don't have
excited
anything
about.
exciting, yeah.
That they're excited to show us. They're like, yeah, we'll come, you just come see us behind closed doors. We'll
That's
show
what it
you
really
some
thinks
things.
like. That's what it really seems like. It doesn't seem like they have anything that's like
That
they
they're
don't have
excited
a
for.
big. They don't have a big banner that they can put up. They don't have an amazing rock music or techno
Mm-hmm.
music filled video to show people, and that's why.
Because
they don't.
even like at E3,
I think
sometimes
it's dubstep right now.
Yeah, dubstep.
you'll go see a game at E3, and because of the excitement and because of just the buzz, the game is like, oh wow, that was really cool, and then a few days later, you're like, okay, no, that was all right.
Well, when is it going to come out? That's what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
but you
like, a
get
couple
caught
days
up
later.
in this just vibe of E3, and if you take that away from your games, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, they've got another Mario game coming out.
Yeah.
But Xbox and Microsoft have got a brand new console. I think that's really it. It's like it's the energy between the two, and there's some separation on the show floor between the different booths and everything. But I think that Nintendo will still have like everybody clamoring around.
And
their
more
booth.
booth babes, please. E3 is lacking booth babes.
It's because people are complaining now about it.
Bunch of bitches. Just let the models do their damn job. Who
When-
cares
I
if they don't know about
remember
games?
When I was there when they announced the 3DS, and it was just like 50 or so models.
And
with
they all
each
had the
3DS.
3DSs like tethered to
Hey,
their
those are
waists.
gamers that just happen to be models. Thank you. Very much.
Some of them, okay. Some of them, yes. But I like myself a booth babe or two. I remember back in the old days of E3, and they would have them like in dancing cages.
Yeah, in
and
the old days, I felt like I was walking into a strip club or a bar.
it was amazing.
I know my
the-
good friend Simone
they should
Boyd.
lower
She
the
does
lights.
GameStop TV stuff. She's actually the host for GameStop TV. Sometimes she'll do booth babe stuff for them, and she's a huge gamer. So
I missed out on that.
It's a way to get into
know.
E3 if you don't like working for press at the moment too.
Booth hunks.
Yeah, but then you're
You can
stuck
be a
at a
booth
booth
babe.
all day.
No, I could be booth hunks.
Grant's a booth
They're called,
babe.
they're
Can be a
called
booth
booth
babe.
I
boys.
could totally,
Booth
I could
boy?
pull off it with pretty
Booth
boy
boys.
looks.
No, I've already become a man. I don't want to go back to.
I just want to say that I completely agree with you, Dave. I think it's really more for the money factor, and Nintendo Direct is doing a good job in hitting a lot of audience. So they're like, why are we gonna do this? I trust Nintendo. They've been
I
doing
think it's
such a
going
good
to
job.
be more like that. Like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft are going to do that more. Like we're going to connect with our audience 3 times a year instead of just that one time a year
That's-
at June when,
Yeah. That's
kinda
when all
what
the
I think
press
it is.
people get in.
Well, I mean, I have to wonder how much it has to do with Satoru Iwata now being the new head of Nintendo and
Yeah.
how
I'm
maybe that's
excited
a
about
change of his-
that.
Yeah.
I like the pictures of him, like kind of like pushing out Reggie Phil Ames.
Oh, Reggie is he scares
I
me.
like him. I like him a lot. For
I
some
like him
reason,
too.
Like,
I
his,
do
his
too.
energy
He's so
is just-
nice, but he looks like he could squish me in a heartbeat. So
He's
I'm
not-
always like,
he's
I feel like he would
fine.
suffocate me with his happiness. That's what he would. He wouldn't even have.
huge.
He wouldn't have to be in my personal space at all. He would just be like sitting there across the room like this.
He's huge though. He's huge. He's like, I heard what you said about
My
Nintendo.
body is ready.
I think he has more like an intimidating smile, whereas you
Yeah.
look at Shigeru Miyamoto, and that's like the sweet, cute
Oh, it's
smile.
too
He's
cute.
so
It's too
adorable.
Yeah.
cute.
No, I want to hug him all day.
That's sugary.
Where
That's sugary.
Shigeru Miyamoto seems like the super nice guy, while whereas it seems like Reggie is like the bouncer.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, he's like, you're gonna like Nintendo.
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
I feel something warm about him.
He is really sweet, but he intimidates me.
He's a little
His
intimidating.
eyes stay open when he smiles like this.
Better than closed, right?
Well, no, I mean like the
Isn't he the
new
one who's like
he's
the
like very he's
the
like,
whole
he's
meme, that one
extremely
face? Isn't
happy,
he a meme
very
face
happy.
too? Reggie?
Like he looks genuinely
We love
happy.
you,
Reggie looks
Reggie.
like distressed whenever
Don't
he's
come
smiling.
after us.
All right, so speaking of like dubstep and like the fact that you gotta use dubstep for your videos, we've got
Borderlands loves dubstep.
Borderlands loves dubstep,
Yeah.
and
Claptrap
Nintendo
loves
maybe people
dubstep.
need to use dubstep.
Claptrap is my best friend.
Ratchet and Clank they were talking about using dubstep for their new trailer, which leads us to our video game
Is this
film
what it's come
adaptation.
to? Is this what it's come to?
Yes.
They're announcing whether or not they're going to use dubstep before they use it in
Oh,
their
shit,
trailer.
let's get
Hey, guess
excited.
what? We're going to use dubstep in our trailer. Get
Well,
ready for
sky's
it.
Well, I
the
mean,
limit nowadays.
it was pretty tongue-in-cheek with their trailer, where they were making fun of like, well, you have to have dubstep for a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just the way they did their trailer. But it just brings us to talk about the fact that Ratchet and Clank is now getting a movie.
Boo.
Heavenly Sword as well, I think.
and Heavenly Sword is getting an animated straight-to-home movie.
Boo.
Are you anti video game turn movies?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yes, I think video games tell better stories than most movies.
And Dave's checking out.
Yeah, he quit.
Ratchet and Clank, TJ Fixman is writer for Insomniac, and he is writing for the movies. Very happy.
Well,
He's
see,
been
I
posting
think
on Twitter.
no
very
matter,
happy about
even
being
if
able
you
to do it.
have an extremely linear story in a video game, everybody's experience with the game and the characters is different. So when you then try to force it into a movie, into a very, very one-way story, it kind of alienates everybody who's played it. Because everybody has a different feeling of how they played this game and the characters they played with it, and it just doesn't work.
I think you maybe, no offense, but you might be thinking too much, because I just want to, whenever I see a video game turn to movie, I get excited because it's like, hey, represent.
But which ones were
And
ever good?
They were never good. I don't
Silent
expect
Hill,
them
the
to be
first
good.
one.
See, the
The
first
first
one
one.
was goodish.
And Mortal Kombat.
No.
Mortal Kombat.
The first Mortal
No,
Kombat
no, no,
movie
no.
was awesome.
Yeah, I
No.
even like the second one.
No.
That's how. But Street Fighter was crap, but it was entertaining.
But I just
Street Fighter
don't
was
think
crap.
video games make good movies. I'd rather see a movie go to video game.
Okay, I have it.
But here, what about the movies that have gone to video games? I think we have better examples.
GoldenEye is
Yeah.
a good one.
We've had better movies go to video games than we've had video games go to movies.
Yeah.
Well, I have a harrowing tale to tell all of you.
Oh,
You can't even
With
spooky.
the
see that.
spooky flashlight. That
Spooky
probably doesn't
time.
work in a
He's
studio.
spooky in
For
general.
those of you just listening,
Spooky tiny blue
thanks,
flashlight.
Kaori. So for those of you just listening, I have a flashlight up to my face because we're gonna gather around the campfire. Once upon a time, I was at a podcast just like this 4 years ago for a different new media website where we were talking about video game film adaptations, and I said, hey, there's all these charities out where you do marathons. Why don't we do a marathon fundraiser for charity where we watch every video game live adaptation film in a row, nonstop.
No, that's terrifying.
It was 26 movies.
My heart is.
It took 3 days, and it was the worst experience of my life.
What?
It was awful.
That
Oh my
sounds kind of fun, though.
It sounded
Because
fun.
you had to watch the U-Bowl movies.
Oh, all the Uwe Boll movies.
Oh, those make me
Dungeon
wanna
Siege and The Name
stab
of the
my
King is the
eyes.
worst movie of all time. House of the Dead is probably the worst, but it's so bad it's funny. Dungeon King isn't even
sometimes.
funny bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
But there were just times where like I literally thought my friend's hand was my own hand because we were live streaming it. And it was not good staying up for 3 hours watching those. We got to a point where we had 6 movies left because there's 26 movies. We had 6 movies left, and I
Wow,
was
20.
excited. I was like, wow, we only have 6 movies left. I would never watch 6 movies in a row in the first place.
No.
Why am I excited?
No, the most I have is watched 4 movies
still
in a
a lot.
row. Yeah.
Those, yeah. So those almost every single one of those movies are horrible. Prince of Persia was okay. I thought it was okay.
Did you watch the one with Gyllenhaal?
Yeah, Gyllenhaal. That's the only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Mortal Kombat. Unlike you, Rachel, I like Mortal Kombat, and I like Silent Hill, but that's about it.
Okay, yeah, I
that's
did.
it.
I thought Silent Hill was good. They missed a lot of key
Goodish,
things.
to
Yeah.
quote.
Yes, they missed a lot of key things about Silent Hill, and I'm the biggest Silent Hill fan ever. Everything before The Room.
But I think you hated the second one, right?
No, the second one's my favorite.
Oh, really?
Everything after The Room is bad. So 1, 2, and 3 is really, really good.
Oh, I'm talking about the movie, the second Silent Hill movie.
Oh, the second Silent Hill movie was trash.
Yeah,
That was just terrible.
What do you guys think of Resident Evil?
No,
I didn't like it.
I still watch all of them, even though I know they're
I
gonna be
can't handle
crap.
it. They're-
I know video game movies are gonna be crap, but I always watch them. I'm
It's
always
like-
intrigued by them. For some
It's like
reason.
watching somebody punch your best friend in the face and you can't do anything about it. You're like, please stop hurting that thing I love.
What do you
Please
guys
stop.
think of Wreck-It Ralph with the little video game cameo?
I liked Wreck-It Ralph.
It was cute. I think
Thank
the
goodness it
first
didn't
half
have a
was
video game before it.
Yeah, the first half of Wreck-It Ralph was great. Second half was stupid, and they got a lot of the facts wrong in some of the arcade games.
Because it
and
was such a historically
they
accurate.
represented. They brought out games that were never actually in an arcade, and
Yeah.
it offended me.
Aw.
Aw.
But I still liked it.
I liked it. I thought it was cute. It had that Disney charm to it.
Oh, I love Disney.
Do you?
Just a little bit.
There's a lot of video game film adaptations on the planning in the planning stages right now, though. So like,
yeah,
getting
you got
these
Assassin's Creed,
announcements-
Splinter Cell, Assassin's
Need for
Creed, Michael
Speed,
Fassbender.
Splinter Cell, Need for Speed.
Need for Speed, we already have that. It's called Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I was
and
just
we have
thinking
too
that.
many of those already.
Hey, well, they're trying to capitalize on more.
But we've got some guys on the chat saying, like comics, I think if the studios had more influence and control in the adaptations, they could be good. But if they just license it out and make something, it's usually
We have a
crap.
caller coming in.
Completely agree with you.
Actually, we did have a caller coming in, and
Steven.
then they just hung up. So,
All right. well, hey, call again, caller,
Call
and we'll
again,
definitely have you
please.
on. So,
But no, I completely agree with Steven there. Yes. I think they don't have enough control over what's going on, especially the original creators of the games. Like that whole stuff with Naughty Dog and when they were making the Uncharted movie. What a bastardization that was going to be.
I think a film movie adaptation could be good. It just hasn't been done yet. But I think there's potential. I think some games lend themselves better than others to be films. I think it can be done. It just
all right,
hasn't been.
we do have a caller
All
coming
right,
in.
caller.
All right, welcome to Game Control Live. You're on the air.
Hey, it's Rachel again.
Hey,
I have
Rachel, what's up?
I have a very simple philosophy on video game adaptations that can be summed up in a few words.
Okay.
If it's not Uwe Boll, I will give it a chance.
Whoa, but House of the Dead is so bad that it's funny, so you can give that one a chance. They had an action scene that was
also-
15 minutes, and then they had a 15-minute recap of that action scene right afterwards.
Yeah.
Sounds
Also,
like my kind
Postal
of movie.
Postal?
was fun to watch just for sit back, relax, watch stuff explode, and
Well, that was
Things
kind of
go
his
crazy.
type of movie, because you're already making a crappy movie about a crappy crap thing, so it was
Yeah.
like perfect for Uwe
Did
Boll.
the Postal movie
Okay.
have cat silencers in it? Because I didn't see it. When you
I
can
don't think it
You can
did.
stick the cat's butt on
Oh,
your gun and use it
God.
as the silencer.
PETA.
it had a lot of Bin Laden
That's all I can think of.
because-
Like, I'm thinking like, oh, PETA.
Cat butt silencer.
Yeah, so as Rachel said, it had a lot of Bin Laden jokes.
Oh, boring.
But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but here's the thing. One of the, I think it was Bin Laden, was played by the suit Nazi, and that's why I saw it.
Oh, because of the whole Seinfeld thing?
I always feel bad for that guy when I see him at cons because he has the poster behind him. It's just like, I'm the soup Nazi guy. Remember that one time I said that line?
He had to go out.
That's his entire career.
He had to go out and like.
I had dinner with him, and he is the sweetest guy, so give him a chance.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Oh, I'm not saying he's not a nice guy.
He just had to go through a lawsuit to try and gain control of his facial, his face, and the ownership of his face, and someone was printing a T-shirt with his face on it.
Yeah.
So this is my face.
That's why I make these big money. But thank you so much for calling, Rachel.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it. And yeah, and Postal kind of fit into Uwe Boll's thing, but like by that point, I think I'd been up for 2.5 days. So I don't remember. Movies? I very vaguely remember that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we watched the Hitman movies.
I did a 24-hour live stream once, and there was points in time where I thought I was probably going to die on camera.
Yeah, this was 3 days.
I was like, this is it.
On YouTube?
They're going to watch me die.
All right.
It was rough.
So with all that though, let's go ahead and move on to That's a Quote. Because we don't have a sound effect yet for it, but we will.
I'll take your word for it.
That's a quote. So
I'm saying things, and y'all can put quotation marks around it because that's a quote.
There we go. Thank you, John. That's our intro to it every time. Mark Cerny says that the PS4 will be dev-friendly. So Mark Cerny is Sony's lead architect on the new hardware, and he's in talking with Gama Sutura, he's quoted saying, "The launch lineup for PlayStation 4, though I unfortunately can't give the title count, is going to be stronger than any prior PlayStation hardware." He goes on to say, "The biggest thing is we didn't want the hardware to be a puzzle that programmers would be needing to solve in order to make quality titles."
Like with the PS3.
Like with the PS3.
Yeah, that was a
he
nightmare.
never said that. He never goes like our last console.
But that's the exact issue the PS3 had, and why a lot of developers left or were complaining about the PS3 is how hard it was. Basically, you have to bleed into your PS3 and pray that it works. Is a direct. I don't remember whose quote is saying that, but there was a developer who said you just bleed into it and pray it works.
I think it's good that he came out and said that though, because like I was looking at it from the fact that like he didn't say it like, oh, it's not like one of those great announcements where it's like, we know our competitors are crap and we're going to continue to be good. It was an announcement that said, okay, we understand that the developers had problems. We're going to make a better effort to be different this next time around. And I think that like from what developers are saying, and like what little they're saying, and what rumors have come out with the sharing features and all the other stuff that's in the dev kits, it's true. It is. I mean, like there's a couple of prominent developers that come out and said it's much easier to develop for the PS4.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point they really needed to do that after all the complaints from PS3 and kind of where it was headed. It was something that needed to happen, needed to get done. Yeah. So I think it's good to hear. Like, I'm always happy to hear like anything that helps the competition out and helps there be more games coming out quicker, games coming out easier. I'm happy to hear that.
Competition out, or
more competition. I mean, it helps there be more competition because that leads to better games.
Nintendo.
I hope there's some more obscure titles. Like PS2 has probably one of my favorite game libraries in history because it was just so big, and it was so big of just really weird, random stuff. Like Tulip, the game you had to run around and try to kiss girls.
Sounds like an amazing game.
It was. And of course, like Katamari and Whiplash. We had
Katamari
so many.
Is not obscure. That's mainstream.
No, it was obscure when it first came out, though. Like, it was this weird ass game where you're just rolling a ball of stuff with this weird king that would come out and yell at you. It was really weird at the time.
The best.
Oh my god, yeah, I love that game. But yeah, the PS2 had so many really good obscure titles. And
yeah, I think
want
there's a
more
lot
of that.
Well, if it's easier to program for, they'll be able to come back and like they'll be able to update titles. They'll come out with new titles.
Too bad the graphics will cost so much.
It'll decrease the cost of development.
Except for the graphics.
Make it easier to develop.
All right, so Mark Pacini of Retro Studios is quoted in an interview with Game Informer saying, "I never played any of the Metroid games after they..." And Mark Pacini is the lead game designer for Retro Studios. He's quoted saying, "I never played any of the Metroid games after they were done, just because I was just so sick of them. When you work on something for 2 years straight and play for 2 years straight, it's really hard to go back and distance yourself from it." And then he goes on to say that, that's always my fear because I think everything we do sucks. But that's just me because I thought all the Prime games suck. At the end of the day, all I see are the bad things. And I have to say, the reason that I like this quote, or the reason I want to bring it up, is I can empathize with him.
Right,
If you've ever created anything, there's a show I made that took a year called Ultimate Challenge. Look it up. But it was entirely green screen, and by the time I was done with it, everyone would ask me like, "Hey, it's good, right? What do you think of it?" And I was just like,
Legends of the Hidden
I don't know. I don't know if it's good anymore. I really don't know.
I know. Yeah, I go through the same thing all the time.
I think it's better. Like his quote is much more. It's well planned. Like he validates it with saying in like I, and like what I've worked on, and then my games suck. You know what I mean? It's not like he said all of the games suck, or all of the games.
Oh, you mean he's not Lord Douche? I mean Lord Brit. Lord British.
Lord Douche.
Yeah, it just sounded something kind of real. He was emphasizing that even he never thinks his stuff is never perfect, and he's always critical about it. So and that's totally like humanized.
Yeah.
Like we all feel that way.
Self-deprecation as opposed to like going out on the street and saying, "You
I
suck,
am a
and
god."
You suck, and you suck.
Or saying I am a god. It's also nice to hear that, because a lot of developers now, you hear like celebrity developers, they kind of just think that their games rock, and all you ever hear about afterwards is them talking about how amazing their game is. So
Like Cliffy B.
It's kind of nice for me to get this, because especially since I can relate to him in that regard, it's nice to see someone who like, your games don't suck. Metroid Prime was awesome, but it's nice to get that.
I like fishing for comments though. Do you think it's like fishing for his fans?
No,
to go on
I don't think so. I
don't think so either.
No, it's okay. Pat you on the back. Like I love Metroid, kinda.
Well, he knows everyone loves Metroid. He just doesn't like it himself, right?
Yeah.
Especially when having to work on it for so long. It's kind of like when people get into competitive gaming and they have to train on a game, and that's all they see, that's all they live. And then by the time...
That's all you can ask them about.
But then, they get burnt out really quickly, and they're like, look, I never want to play that game again. So, yeah.
So much of a good thing can be bad, folks. Let that be a lesson to y'all.
Except for sex. So, let's go on the quote C. Warren Spector thinks games are too niche and expensive. And
someone's finally admitting it.
So this was basically, someone asked him, because he did a column for GameIndustry.biz, and someone asked him the question, are people intimidated by art? And his response went on, and one thing he said was, the work aspect of games will, I suspect, always limit our audience to some extent. I've always said we're not a mainstream medium, but rather a niche medium that overcharges for its product. Still, the growth of the gaming audience is apparent, and to keep it going, we have to broaden the range of our content. What did you guys think and take away from that?
I don't think anybody's going to be making a CEO soon.
Well, one of my favorite things he had also said was that the best things coming out in this industry are the independent games right now. And that's something I completely agree with.
I can agree with that.
And I think it's mainly because a lot of independent...
For every independent game, there's more successes and more things that I can enjoy, as opposed to like the AAA titles.
Well, plus with the big companies, all they want to do is they just want to mass produce. And a lot of indie games are built by people that are building a game that they themselves want to play. And it's kind of like you can just, I don't know, their soul goes into it. So it's just a better
you can
game.
kind of tell.
Yeah.
Soul games.
So games.
I mean, for me, I think it depends. There are still AAA games I love, like Deus Ex, Human Revolution, blew me away, and Dark Souls. I'm going to be talking about more because that blew me away so much. And then people are obsessed with Bioshock Infinite, so I think that there are some really good AAA games.
Oh, absolutely.
But I agree. I think that, and this is actually something Cliffy B, which we're not going to talk about, but he just went on another rant, of course, where why can't AAA games and indie games coexist?
Now, right?
That is his new job.
Machine.
He doesn't make games anymore. He just rants now. New job.
I expect he's going to make a return.
Oh, he will.
Under a new company very soon.
I think so too.
This is all run up. Like, look at me, look at me, look at me.
It's in his blood.
I got a new company.
But I mean, the question is though, do we think that? I honestly don't agree that games are niche anymore. I don't think they are. But I do think that some of them are overpriced, like the $60 price point, especially to me. When you have games going on where you can download them digitally and they're the same price as a box copy of it, to me, that's overcharging.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, if you're going to spend $60, at least get the cartridge.
They've been dragging it out though. Like, this is the exact thing that, like, I don't think that there's anything they could have done better to define that they're going to continue to sell digital games for $60 than what they've done over the past 5 years. Same thing with books. Like, they've basically convinced you that buying a $10 book makes sense when you can go into the bookstore and buy the paperback for $6.99 or the same exact price.
Yeah.
Same thing with games. Like, they've convinced you that on day one, without them shipping a box, with you having to download it and you not ever owning a physical copy of the game, that you're going to pay $60. I think it's going to continue to be $60. I think that
from what he's saying, I still think that they should lower the prices, but I think that he knows that, and I think that a nice medium point might be around 50 as opposed to 60 or 45.
I mean, I have the issue with having to get a physical copy. I think Dave has that issue too.
Yeah.
Like PlayStation right now is having that spring sale, and they're having some games are slashed, but you have to download it. I'm like, you have to download it?
I know.
I almost rather just pay 30 extra bucks.
I like them in my collection.
Yeah, me too. I've got my giant collection.
Yep.
It's
They're making
amazing.
note of you guys.
I know, and it's a problem. It's a card drug.
They'll send you a little mailer. They'll
They
send you a
look
little
so
mailer
good.
in the mail, snail mail, and they'll be like, "Hey, you want to come on down to our yard sale and buy up a $60 version
Well,
of
part
this
of it
game?"
is like the idea of losing it if something happens to my console, where the game's gonna go. I know that
You
sounds
can keep
weird,
'em.
but I don't know. I
We'll
just
see.
Well, I mean, to also take a system like, say, with the PS3 to the PS4, where they're talking about it won't be backwards compatible, even with the games that you downloaded potentially.
Yeah.
So you downloaded all those games to your PS3, and if you want to play all those games again, you have to carry your PS3 around with you everywhere, as opposed to if you just bought the physical copy of the game.
Right, but the worst is that they just made us rebuy a bunch of our PS2 games in HD remake, and now those aren't going to work either.
It
Boo.
drives me nuts.
What the hell?
Drives me nuts.
I know.
I just want to get an old school PS3
Bastards.
so I can play Kingsfield again. That's my dream right now.
Too niche, too expensive.
DLC should be made just for demos.
Ooh, controversy.
Know what? I like XBLA stuff. I'm down with it. I'm down with XBLA.
Yeah, there's
And
some
PSN.
amazing games on there.
But let's go ahead and move on to a more fun topic, which is that's the 27th anniversary of the Konami Code.
What a random ass anniversary, honestly.
know.
I mean, like I was expecting like let's not talk about this and like wait in 3 more years until the 30th anniversary.
Because it's fun, and why not talk about it? That's why.
It was featured in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep.
It's featured in very nearly almost any game that has Legacy.
Was your guys' first time using it with Contra? Because that was
Yes.
definitely my first
Yes.
time.
Contra.
A lot of people refer to it as the Contra Code.
Right.
so.
Right.
I remember when I was a little kid, I wasn't unable to do it myself, so my brother would always do it for me.
It takes some timing.
It takes, yeah.
Back to the other topic, but really quick. Apocalyptic Pete says, I prefer to be able to hold what I buy. So that's
Yep.
kind of just going back to that topic. Just want to call out someone from the chat. But let's move on further to the Konami Code, where it was actually first introduced with Gradius, because it was being ported from arcade to the console. And Kazuhisa Hashimoto was the person who was coding it over and bringing it to the NES. And he thought the game was too difficult to play through during testing, because a lot of arcade games were. So he created this cheat code just basically for the testers and
Yeah,
forgot to
testing
remove
code.
it, which is how all those great codes always are.
Yeah.
Someone forgot to remove something. And
like the hot coffee mod.
like the hot coffee mod.
Yeah.
What did that test?
No, well, nothing. They just forgot to remove it.
They just forgot to remove it.
Well, admittedly, the only way to get to the hot coffee mod was to illegally mod your Xbox
Yeah.
and then down like.
Well, I thought it was.
But that didn't stop it from
PC
being a
only.
big controversy
Yeah.
on Fox News.
It's PC only.
But yeah, so basically, I mean,
Thank God
I
I'm
think all the
PC.
great modes are things that people. I think it's just a lot of developers forgetting to leave things out, and I love this stuff about old school games. And I wish new games did this more. All those like hidden things they have to find, like Mortal Kombat 2 is the thing that my best memory or my favorite memory with cheat codes was finding out how you get into test mode, which was essentially the developers mode where they could just switch things around. And I just love games having those things. Like being able to break a game was part of the fun of games to me back in the day.
My
I enjoyed
favorite.
Game Genie.
Back in the day.
Yeah, Game Genie.
I actually have an original Game Genie for Game Boy, the fat Game Boy, with the entire code book intact. I was really surprised. I opened it up, like I brought it from home, and I opened it up, and I was like, every single page. I went through the numbers, and I was like, because the pages are falling out of these paper books with horrible bindings. I was really happy to find that I had an intact Game Genie.
I had memorized
No games to play it with.
so many cheat codes for Grand Theft Auto 3. I memorized the 3 different weapon codes, the no wanted level, and the full health and shield cheat codes.
Wait, for which game?
Grand Theft
Grand
Auto
Theft
3.
Okay.
Mine
Yeah.
is SimCity, Simoleons.
Yeah, I like that
Oh,
Grand Theft Auto
yeah.
3 kept all that in.
I'd still do it for The Sims too. I think
yeah.
it's like Motherload is the money
Yeah.
cheat.
And then build whatever you want. really.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I remember the Street Fighter code when you got the regular one, and then you can do the special code, and it became Turbo Street Fighter.
Oh, I didn't know that one. I made sure I got my Street Fighter 2 on Genesis. I like fighting games more on my Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo.
Well, I played them on
For
so
some
many different
reason.
consoles. I wonder if it was like with all the consoles they would have it.
I think
Because
some of them
are
had different
console
cheat codes.
specific.
Yeah, some of them were console specific.
Right, yeah.
I think there's a cheat code on the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat to make the blood come, wasn't there? Maybe there wasn't.
I think so, more gory, right?
Well, I think it was just because the Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo didn't have blood because it was a Nintendo system.
Yeah.
So that was like the big, you have to get it for Sega Genesis because there's blood in the Sega Genesis one. But I miss cheat codes, I miss all that stuff. And it's like, if I play a game, I do like playing it without cheats, but it's still just fun to me to have that stuff. I like game-breaking things. I like fun stuff like that. I just think... I just think to me that's part of the coolness of games, just the fact that there's all these secrets and hidden things. It just adds that secret element.
Yeah, but now you won't get achievements, so can't use cheat codes because you got to get them achievements.
Yeah, I mean, well, I love achievements
Completely
too.
different mentality.
Can't they just,
nowadays.
maybe if you use a cheat code though, it just disables the achievement from being able to happen.
They do. That's what it does.
They do.
For some. Yeah, well, it just depends on the game. Some games don't.
Yeah, well, the ones that you buy the cheat codes for, like Saints Row, that doesn't disable the achievements, but some of them do.
Oh, you know what? That's the big problem with it. I didn't even think about the fact that now instead cheat codes are DLC. And so now you have to buy it, the cheat code, instead of just having it in the game. Damn you, DLC! And with that epic damning, let's move on to some gaming moments of the week.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and start with Kaori to my left.
Okay.
Just like that, whip over.
So my gaming moment of the week, I was on Reddit, and there is a Redditor. His name was Roboman. He had some art for, I don't know if he's gonna.
Is that quotation art or like art?
It's coming up
Yeah,
right
John
now.
will be pulling it up. And for
I just popped up two of the ones I really liked.
and for the
I don't know
iTunes
which
listeners,
one.
we will describe it for you. Do a little description.
So right now, here.
Oh, wow.
So I thought it was really cool. We got Mega Man and Super Mario, and they are battling
the
out.
pinkish character in the back.
I think that's the platform that Mega Man goes on in one of the games. I think.
He just ripped his arm off.
I think
He's a
I think
robot.
that's
He
the
can handle
Airman
it.
level. But
this is basically just the description of what I want to see in the next Smash Brothers.
I know,
yeah,
right?
wouldn't that be
That's
awesome?
what that is.
I think
Smash
it's really
Brothers
cool.
mixed with Mortal Kombat. Oh, yeah.
So Mega Man is kind of. It seems like he's kicking his butt, but then Mario seems like he's kicking his
I
butt.
don't know. It
too.
seems like someone's
Mario's
losing the
definitely
fight.
winning.
Yeah.
He's got his arm.
He looks angry.
forgotten.
Yeah, but Mega Man still has his blaster arm though.
Mega
and that's
Man's
the more
face
important
is
one.
like, oh shit, what just happened?
I know,
And
Mario's
Mario
like,
looks like I'm gonna beat you and go right through you into
But
the next person.
Clearly, they're at Airman stage though from Mega Man
yeah.
2. So I mean, Mega Man should have his shit together.
I think
But he didn't.
I think
He
in
got
a
caught off
battle,
guard.
Mega Man would probably
Yeah.
win.
I'm gonna say, look at Mega Man's chest. He's ripped.
Yeah, he's a rip.
So what if Mega Man beat Mario? What kind of power do you think he would receive?
Mega Man wouldn't beat Mario. Mario would beat Mega Man.
If Mega Man beat Mario, he would drop some mushrooms, and if Mario beat Mega Man, he would drop some energy.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
and E.
Yes.
To see what
He
would
dropped
happen
the
to each
E. You
individual
can
character.
call it E.
Well,
Yep.
to see
It's an
what
E.
each character, what would happen to each one, and what would happen to Mario if he had the energy, and what would happen to Mega Man if he had the mushroom. I guess you just grow bigger.
Just all I need is Mega Man and Smash Brothers. That's all I gotta say. Let's move on to the next picture.
All right, next picture. And then this one I thought was so cool because Super Mario Bros. 2 was awesome, and we have
So that would be
Sub-Zero.
Mario inside the Sub-Zero.
That is ridiculous.
Yes.
I love this because Sub-Zero is my favorite Mario. So for people,
Sub-Zero and Scorpion kind of. That looks like Scorpion.
it is
doesn't
Scorpion,
Yeah.
definitely.
That is
That's why
amazing.
this is cool. Sub-Zero is my favorite Mortal Kombat character. And for people just listening, we're looking at a picture of the Mario 2 cover, but instead it's Sub-Zero in place of Mario and Sub-Zero Brothers 2.
And
That's
instead
adorable.
of a turnip,
I
he's
think-
got a head.
I think for a guy, when you ask a man, do you like Sub-Zero or Scorpion, and they say Sub-Zero, it defines like what kind of guy. he is.
Sub-Zero. Bitches.
I like both.
You like both.
Yeah. I mean, I like
Oh,
being
so
able
you
to
go-
freeze my opponent.
So Grant likes playing both sides of the field.
I actually really enjoyed from the movie his ability to I don't know what the definition of that ability to pull people closer to him.
Well, get over here.
Yeah, the get
Yeah,
over
that's all you need to do is
And
call
then it
get
had
over
the
here.
audio inside the movie too. Get over
They
here.
did have the audio.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like fan art, so greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Roboman on Reddit.
Very good.
All right, Grant, what is your moment of the week?
My moment of the week was THQ announcing 2K announcing that they were going to release the XCOM shooter this year. Surprise, much to everybody's surprise, because everybody had thought it was put on hold. It
they announced it. They released a trailer, and I love the trailer, even though it didn't show so much.
I'm so glad Rachel was sitting next to you right now, so everyone watching could see your expression when you explained that.
What?
I think I went, and then I yawned.
What? You're not
It's just
excited?
a funny
for it?
reaction.
Hey, you know what? When your moment of the week sucks, I sit there and I go like, "Oh, that's pretty cool too." I'm nice about it. Don't know what you're talking about, but that's pretty cool.
You don't have to be a nice guy about anything, Grant. Grant's just a nice guy.
It's on now. That's all.
So so you're excited for XCOM though?
Yes.
But they're not going to show it at E3, which is kind of disappointing.
no, they're not even coming to E3, so
Yep.
I guess we'll have to see. But they
Yep.
kind of showed. They showed a lot of it before.
Well, the
it
big
looks
news
kind of
is
cool.
that it's a third-person shooter instead of first-person now.
Well, I don't know where they're getting that. Was that part of the press release? Because I mean, it's 2K Marin that's developing it. It's the same company that did BioShock 2. So it's like if you have the same people working on it, like hopefully you're going to have a lot of the same, kind of feel, polish as BioShock 2 had.
I don't know about that.
It's on now.
All right. Well, now that it's on, Rachel, what is your moment of the week?
My moment of the week is,
Don't know if I like it.
whoa, what was it called? Oh, Surgeon Simulator 2013. I played
John's
it.
going to pull up the video.
Yes, I played it for my YouTube channel and did a little Let's Play, and it's so bad it's good. Like, you're supposed to be. I was having to give this poor man Bob a heart transplant. Instead, I destroyed his ribs, pulled his lungs out, and cut his esophagus, and then I killed him.
So a little more
murdered
brutal than
somebody?
Trauma Center.
It's way different than Trauma Center. It's one of the most difficult and worst controlled game I've ever played.
Actually, just watching the trailer, the dude's arm just looks like it doesn't work properly.
It controls, again, it's the worst controlled game I've ever played in my life.
Like, it legitimately looks like a mentally handicapped person trying to do surgery.
Yes.
Oh. He clearly
Oh, I
doesn't.
didn't know I had a laser. I never used the
His
laser.
finger was twitching out.
But
This is like
you got psychedelic.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, because I did that too. I was like swinging to get a weapon, or I mean a tool.
See, that's the definition. You think of these things as weapons. That's why you're like,
And I
in
accidentally
order to
Look,
kill
it
the
is when
guy,
that dude's
I grabbed
using
the
it.
weapon off the table and I proceeded to stab him with it.
Yes.
Didn't seem to work out.
I
was trying to
accidentally
replace
injected
his heart.
myself with some kind of hallucinogen, so
It's
like
almost
everything
like
went crazy.
That board game Operation.
It's Operation.
Some
yes.
people have likened it to co-op for the simulator generation.
It's awful. It is a terrible game, but it's so much fun. I love it.
We're getting a lot of poor Bob. Nagano says, yeah, poor Bob. Corpsey says, poor Bob.
Don't worry,
Yes.
everybody. He's still alive.
Yeah.
You can
Well,
get Surgeon Simulator and wreak havoc on Bob yourself.
The one of the mods in my live chat's name is Bob, and so that character's his name was Bob, so it's kind of a joke. But
Okay.
I totally just killed Bob.
It reminds me of like XYKD or whatever that game is where you have to control a person and try and have them run the marathon.
Oh yeah.
To me, it looks like
Co-op.
the surgeon version of that.
Co-op. XYKD is like the multiplayer version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, but you know what I'm talking
isn't
about,
it
where you have to
QWERTY?
run. What? Yeah, the QWERTY game. It reminds me of that, just the horribly controlled game where you have to try and make someone run a marathon and you just can't make it happen.
Oh, it was so awful,
Very
but
much
still
like
fun.
that. I like the way the hand looks. It's just like
Yeah.
It wasn't moving that
You move
much.
it with the mouse, and your right button makes it rotate, and
This
your
would have
left
been a
button
game
makes it go
right,
up and down.
Right for the Kinect, I
And
think.
then, oh god, I think it'd be better with the Power Glove. But then you use your WASD keys to actually grab and release. So it's
Really?
yeah.
So it is like.
And it
co-op.
starts off left-handed,
Co-op.
but you can switch
Co-op.
to right-handed.
Oh my god, I want to play that game with the Power Glove. That would be
I
amazing.
know.
Sting the Power
I
Glove.
would be the
Co-op.
best surgeon ever.
Co-op with your left hand, and then Surgeon with Simulator with your right hand.
Guys,
Oh,
Something
God.
like
if the
that.
game had the Power Glove, it would be so bad. That's so bad.
No, can we
Power
have a
Glove.
Power Glove party.
Yes,
That
yes,
was
yes,
good
yes.
back when the Power Glove was being advertised. It's so bad, it's rad.
It's so bad. I'm just
so
thinking
bad,
about.
it's rad.
I'm just quoting the wizard, okay? All right, so I'm gonna jump on my moment of the week, and Apocalyptic Pete, I think you'll appreciate this moment. I know I talk about it all the time. I'm gonna talk about it again. Dark Souls. Was playing more, of course, because I have to. And finally, I started playing the game like 2 years ago, but I finally went ahead and John pulled up my happy face because I got the nice honor achievement
look at
in
you.
Dark Souls.
Do you have no shirt on?
I know. I was thinking he's topless.
No, I'm wearing a beater. That's like my undershirt. I wear beaters. But
gaming attire.
No, he just never puts on clothes when he's at home. It's
And I just
really,
never
really
put on
weird.
clothes.
I love
really,
this.
really weird.
But yeah, so this is me. It's just a picture of me. I got the nice honor achievement in Dark Souls, which you literally have to play New Game Plus, get to New Game Plus Plus to get. But the asshole Paladin Leroy Jenkins, it's a reference to that. He holds this gear, and I was in New Game Plus Plus, hadn't gotten yet. Accidentally kicked him off of a cliff, and he dropped his gear with him and his loot to get this achievement. So I had to beat I had to speed run through the game to New Game Plus 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 to get this. And I've been playing different builds, so I've already played through the game like 4 or 5 times. Otherwise than this, it just took me a while to finally go ahead and get that achievement, which takes forever. And I was excited that I got it.
Heck yeah. Oh, achievements make me so fuzzy and warm.
Me too. So I was fuzzy and warm and topless, apparently.
All right.
All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and talk about some quick hit news stories. We've got a fun one to start with, an engagement party scandal.
Yes.
Scandalous.
Aren't they all?
They're
Or
always scandalous.
subtitle, How Not to Be a Good PR Person.
Yes, good subtitle, How Not to Be a good PR rep. So PR rep for Activision. Activision's getting a lot of playtime today. PR rep for Activision is siphoned off 18,963 pounds, which
From
is
the UK, right?
Yeah.
which is equivalent to about $29,000. Yeah, this was a PR rep from the UK. $29,000 it was the PR exec Catherine Curtin to pay for her engagement party. She tried to expense this as necessities for the Modern Warfare 2's publicity campaign. Was how she expensed this. So
How embarrassing.
ways to expense it got out. Hey, she would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those darn kids.
I like that she got away from doing jail time because she pleaded that all of this getting in trouble for the engagement party stuff was already almost ruining her marriage. So they figured that if they sent her to jail, it would do more mental damage than anything or emotional damage. So she didn't have to do any jail time.
Which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So apparently if you want to get out of jail time, just go have a kid. Which, no jail time.
Oh, yeah, because she also just had a baby, and she said that all this stress from her stealing the money had caused her to go into labor sooner. Yeah, she's a good one. She's quite the little manipulator.
Let that be a lesson to you,
How
kids.
did they even fall for that?
Embezzling is an equal opportunity crime.
Yes. Yeah.
Equal opportunity crime. So, kind of ridiculous story, but I thought it was kind of funny that just like what people are doing. And I was going to talk about this last, but let's go ahead and talk about it right now because there's another Activision story, which is that the head of Activision decided to give himself a little raise. Not
Just
too
a
big,
little
just a
bit.
little one.
Yeah.
800% raise. For, yeah, and which is completely unacceptable. That's an Adventure Time quote, and actually Adventure Time quote. Let's pull up the full thing.
No advertisements, full screen. Go.
Originally from Adventure Time, but we've got a simulated version of that quote.
Unacceptable!
Oh, Commander Shepard.
Amazing. So it's the Bobby Kotick, who is the publisher's CEO, or Bobby Kotick, thank you. He was making $8.1 million, now it's 64.9 in 2012. And I was thinking about the comparison too. Say you're making $20,000 a year, like minimum wage, $20,000 a year. If you give yourself an 800% raise, that means you'll be making $180,000 a year the next year. So even a sizable jump if you're only making a small amount of money a year. So insane.
Yeah, that's unheard of.
God, I want
Hey,
that
gotta
money.
get the profits while the profits are coming, because honestly, like, some of these game franchises are falling short after being successful for so many years. Like, if Call of Duty is as successful as it is, like, why not take a profit now?
I feel swindled.
I know. I'm
did he
never
take from
buying.
you?
I'm not giving him any more of my money.
Well,
Yeah.
the next Call of Duty will cost
But I haven't 'cause I don't
$60.
play
Whether or
that
not you go out
game.
and buy it, that will decide whether or not he gets his bonus
I
in
don't play Call of Duty
2014.
games.
But I guess, you know what, Call of Duty's doing all right, so whatever. I just still think that they should give Infinity Ward all that money. That's what's insane to me. That still bothers me and pisses me off. But let's go ahead and talk about some THQ auction results, because they've been auctioning off their games for a while now. Finally, they finished auctioning off the rest of their games. The big ones being Homeworld, Darksiders, Red Faction, and MX vs. ATV. Homeworld went for a winning bid of $1.35 million for the IP, went to Gearbox.
Gearbox. I love me some Gearbox, except for Alien.
Especially Aliens.
No. Borderlands is my jam.
What about Duke Nukem Forever? That was another Gearbox game.
I actually liked it.
Really?
Yes, I thought it was.
What Duke Nukem was.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's exactly what Duke Nukem used to be.
It wasn't like Duke Nukem, the next Mass Effect. No, it was Duke Nukem.
It was exactly what I wanted a Duke Nukem game to be. So I didn't mind it. I don't like Nordic owning Darksiders.
Yeah, Nordic got Darksiders because they haven't really done anything in all their games.
Yeah.
They kind of just stand behind producers who create games like the Dreamcatcher Joe Wood, who made Painkiller, Overdose, Spellforce, and the Guild 2. And then they own the venture company which made Broken Sword, The Sleeping Dragon, Sam and Max Season 1, which I'm a little more okay with. But I mean, Darksiders I think actually has serious potential.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think the potential's been met yet. So it's kind of sad to me to see a company that I don't know if they know what they're doing.
Right, because I like Darksiders 1, but Darksiders 2 was definitely a step in the right direction. But I still didn't even feel like Darksiders 2 was its max of what it could do. So I was really excited about the third. I don't think that's the right company for that game.
I don't think so either. But what about 505 Games getting drawn to life? I don't think 505 Games hasn't really done anything either.
Yeah.
In fact, they're kind of like under a lot of scrutiny for messing things up.
Where did these companies get this money?
They have Michael Phelps and Cooking Mama.
What's really interesting is they still owe $200 million in royalties.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
whether or not they sell them all, they're owing money.
So that's THQ
after the auction.
still owns that amount of money. THQ still owes that much money.
$200 million in royalties and licensing fees to companies like the UFC. Microsoft, they owe about $200,000 too. There's a tattoo artist who's claiming legal fees of $4.9 million, and two THQ execs want $2 million apiece.
Ouch. Ridiculous.
That doesn't add up to $200 million, but it's getting close.
I kind of just wonder how that happens that they got that so far into debt. Like
hopefully, I thought that hopefully it was going to be the auction was going to help to pay or mitigate some of that, but it looks like they're like. The auction's over. The feeding has begun. Like this is like dinner bell.
I can't believe that a bigger company didn't pick up Darksiders. Like that shocked the hell out of me.
I think most companies got a deal on the games they picked up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree though. But Darksiders, well, I mean, they got like 3 IPs. They got Darksiders, MX Cross ATV, and they got Red Faction.
And there's some studios
and like a bunch of minor IPs. Well. Yeah,
like the studios that worked on those games, some of them just went all over.
But you know what? Maybe. Best of the world, hopefully, maybe Nordic Games is like, maybe we want to be serious about this now and actually get into the business for real. Let's hope. And let's hope that they'll really do something good with it.
Yeah, I hope so.
So, in other depressing news to round off the day, EA layoffs. So, EA laid off 10% of their employees this week. So, quite a decent amount.
Are they from certain factions of EA or just like, we fired a secretary?
EA partners.
Oh,
they're not really. I mean,
they closed down their EA Partners brand. It's basically kind of like if a good example is Zynga had like all of these international companies, and they got too big too fast, and they shut down. They had to forcefully shut down theirs. EA is more of like a proactive thing. They're like, we're not like hurting for money, but we don't see these studios or these employees as being part of our future of money making.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Or cutting our like trimming our waste at this point will be better for us in the long run.
I feel like we're hearing a lot about different layoffs lately. It seems like there's been a lot of layoffs in the industry lately that we've been talking about on this show, which is too bad.
I kind of wanted to coin the last 365 days as the year of layoffs. I wrote an article about it in January, and I really didn't think it could be it could get progressively worse. Although it has slowed down, and this EA news has been the EA news has been the first big piece of news of layoffs in the last 2 or 3 months. But prior to the new year, it was like, hey, this company's laying off people and this company's closing. THQ is a good example.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Like it was really big last year, and this seems to continue it. Like if you go back to last year,
we also had Capcom just talking about closing studios and shutting down games last week or 2 weeks ago.
Like, I mentioned Zynga as an example, but they are a studio that has dropped a number of employees and shut down a number of businesses last year.
But Capcom just started going down. Squeenix is talking about doing it, and
we lost LucasArts.
Yeah, we lost LucasArts, so a lot just recently.
Yeah.
So too bad, but Nordic Games, I'm hoping on Nordic Games.
Come on, guys.
All right, guys. So before we wrap up the show, I do want to say a couple things, which is, first of all, if we could get your support in any way possible, please go to iTunes, please go to YouTube, please rate, comment, positive or negative. We just want to know how we can make the show better for you guys. Or if you disagree with us, we had some disagreements last week. Go ahead and disagree with us to some Mega Man X music. And yeah, so go ahead and disagree. It doesn't matter. We just want to know what you guys think, and we'll definitely read the comments and relate, or we'll agree with you guys, or agree. Or you can come to the live chat. We're every single week, 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's on AfterBuzzTV.com. You can join in. You've heard us chiming in with you guys, chatting with you guys, or you can call us every week too. We definitely love calling and talking to you guys live. And definitely make sure to go check out our Twitter at Game Control Live. And last week we posed a question for you guys, which is, what announcement were you most excited for from Nintendo Direct? And this was some of your responses. At Owen Harper on Twitter said, Animal Crossing New Leaf and Legend of Zelda trailer. I'm a huge fan of both franchises and have AC pre-ordered.
Animal Crossing!
So Animal Crossing was one response. We've got David Rayner on YouTube, starting by telling us that he plays a good amount of games, 4 to 6 hours daily. That's a lot. And Link to the Past 2 is his favorite, and I agree with that. Link to the Past 2 is my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Zarzak719 screaming out in all caps, Earthbound! That's how I read that. Someone's all caps, Earthbound!
Good delivery. I get the emotion.
Yeah.
And we've got a new question of the week for you guys. Whoever, tweet us on Game Control Live or comment on YouTube or iTunes. How do you feel about Always On for the new Xbox? I'm going to leave that open. You can interpret that however you want. No, not online only, just Always On, however you interpret it. Anyway, how do you feel about Always On for the new Xbox? Do you think that's going to happen? Do you not? Are you excited? Are you not excited? It's a loaded question. So guys,
or not loaded if it's offline, I guess.
Or not loaded. So guys, that wraps us up for this week. So thanks again for joining us. And once again, I'm Dave Klein. You can find me on Twitter at @TheDaveKlein. That's KLEIN. Or go to my website, djk-online.com.
And you can find me at KAORIOUS on Twitter, Facebook, and all that good stuff.
Grant.
You can find me on Twitter at GAK, and during the week I write for Nerdluster.
And you can find me on Twitter, which is at @TheRachel.
And John Quick in the booth.
Playing the Mega Man music.
You can find me wherever your heart desires.
Oh, my heart desires you right here, right now.
Click.
But away from me in a windowed booth where I can't see you really because you're all the way in a booth. That's where my heart desires. All right, guys, thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.